there, welcome back to my channel, Uniquely Reagan Handcrafted Cards. Today I'm going to make a sheet load of cards from Call Me Crafty Al for May 2025. Every month she puts out a sketch with a supply list and the dimensions, a cut list on the other side of the paper, a second page, and special instructions if needed. But here's what the card's going to look like. Now I've already cut out my two pieces of 12 by 12 paper to give me the all the pieces I needed, and I have switched up the patterns. Using double-sided paper gives a yield of additional options, so that's always a great thing. And to use things that maybe are not directional, think about that kind of thing when you're putting your cards together. So this patterned paper on one side had hearts, on the other side it had a lot of banners and that kind of thing. Now I'm not using the banners on my cards, but I am using the hearts because of the blue pattern paper. And I also had this gnome pattern paper here that has a lot of birthday themes and banners and presents and cakes and that kind of thing. And on the other side, it's a tone-on-tone pattern paper in orange, and it has presents and streamers and dots and balloons. So those are the papers that I'll be using. And I have cut all my pieces up, and I went a little crazy on my 1/2-inch strips, so I had to supplement with a couple of extra pieces of paper for one of the sizes. And that's okay. I've got some scrap paper, so that's not a problem. So I'm going to be referring back to my image here as I put my pieces together. Now there are some special instructions on how to adhere the papers that are going diagonal here on the image. And if you print your sketch in a 100% pattern or 100% size, it does give you the whole, your card measurements will be the same as what's printed out. So I'm going to set these two pieces aside. I'm going to set this other card piece aside. And I have a piece of blue cardstock here. And so that's what we're going to be laying out the diagonal pattern onto. And when I cut the pattern paper here in my 1/2-inch strips, I was careful and to keep them in the same way they come out of the trimmer. So when I am piecing them back together, it looks kind of as if it was one sheet of paper, but just maybe has some strips in between. Even though we have, this is the strip and we're laying it on another piece of cardstock. So I'm gonna adhere this bottom one down. I'm gonna leave just a little bit of blue showing down at the bottom. And then on the top, I'm gonna glue the top one down next, and then I'll come back in and glue the middle. So I'm going to glue this down on the top, leaving that same distance from the top. It's about 1/8 of an inch. You can always refer back to the sketch that Call Me Crafty Al provides with special instructions on how to place your pieces together. Now I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to do the second one here. And I'm just going to make sure that this is still in the same pattern, and it's not. Let me reorganize this just a little bit. Make sure that, okay, so this is the bottom piece. Had to rework, and it might have been easier to do the gnome side. Just got out of order just a little bit. So I'm going to adhere that to the bottom. And then I'm going to adhere the one on the top. Doing it this way helps you to kind of get the same distance at the top and bottom, and then the one in the middle, you can just split the distance. And it won't be, if you're just off even a little bit, it's not, or a lot, it won't be as noticeable because we're going to cover some of that image up. And then also, it just won't be as obvious as the ones on the top and the bottom. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to angle this, and we're going to match up the bottom down here on the side and the top up here on the right. So we don't need any glue up here on this end or this end because that's hanging off. So I'm just going to put some glue in the center. And I'm going to angle up here and down at the bottom. So, and then we're going to trim away the excess that's hanging off. We don't need that part. So let me get my scissors. Now you could take this to the trimmer, or you could, I'm turning my piece over to go to the back side so I can get my scissors all the way up against that straight edge of the larger piece of paper, and just trimming away that excess. Now let's go to the other side. And I have a couple of layers there, so there we go. Now, I didn't quite get it even there, but what I can do is I can go to the trimmer and I can even that up with the guillotine trimmer, and you'll never even notice that anything is off. So we've got that one together. I'm going to leave that piece of paper with that, and we're going to do the same over here and make sure my hearts are going up. Put some glue on that, and then angle that up this way and angle this off to the side. And trim there. And trim there. Okay. Some of that glue up, toss these. All right, so those are those two pieces, and I have already off screen put together the other pieces for my cards already so that I didn't have to waste your time. So I already have, these are my card base layers and mats. I laid all these out for you. There we go. So we get 8 cards. And the next step that we're going to do is I have some additional pieces of paper, and these are provided, the measurements are provided in the Call Me Crafty Owl Sheetload cut list for the month of May 2025. I have some pieces that are white, and our sentiment's going to go on the top here. And then I have a couple of images that I cut and colored, and I used some of the same colors that are in our pattern paper here. I have 4 of those, and I'm going to use some other just sentiments on some. And because this is pretty busy paper on here, so I'm just going to use a sentiment on the ones that have the plain pattern paper with the hearts, which is more tone on tone. And also this is tone on tone. That's where I'm going to put the cake. So that's how that's going to work out. Now, the white piece of paper is going to layer up on this blue pattern paper. And then our smaller pattern paper is layering up here. And the top is where our sentiment is going to go. So the next step I need to do is work on stamping out a sentiment. So what I'm going to do is take 4 of the pieces of paper, the ones that I'm going to only put a sentiment on, because again, this paper is pretty busy. So I'm going to take 4 of these, and I'm going to put a larger sentiment on these rather than the other pieces. Where I'm going to use the cake, I'm going to use the smaller sentiment. Now this cake came from the Birthday Tag It stamp set from Maymay Made It. And what I'm going to do is I think that I'm going to make a couple that say this gift was made just for you. And then this was sort of expensive, but you're worth it. I'm going to set you to some music while I stamp out my sentiments and start to assemble my cards. Sit back and enjoy.
stillness, the clouds drift high. Thoughts like breezes whisper by. Endless waves of a calm blue sky.
Okay, so I've gone back in and added cardstock onto the inside of all of the cards here. For all 8 of my cards, I used the stamp set from Maymay Made It called Birthday Tag It. And then I also used the May 2025 Sheetload of cards from Call Me Crafty Al to get 8 cards using 2 12x12 pattern pieces of paper. I hope you've enjoyed watching my channel today. Have a great day, and we'll see you the next time. Hit that like or subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Bye.